Actually making fun of that wine. I was making fun of that French imported de-alkalized, I can't even say it because I never even known it exists, de-alkalized wine. They basically spend huge efforts and hours and hours and hours to actually remove the alcohol from the wine so that people can drink it. And then it's imported all the way from France. It's fancy fare. It is fancy fare. Sorry, my camera's shaking. It's fancy fare, and I was making fun of it. And then for New Year's, I had like store-bought juice. So it's a lesson. It's a lesson to learn by. It's a lesson to learn by is don't drink all your wine. Save it, for special occasions. Can you imagine, the ball drops on Times Square? You don't have a care in the world at the moment. And then when New Year's hits, you have nothing to drink? I mean, come on. They should be throwing champagne down the streets, like in fountains. Like you can just hold a cup up to it, like all the street lights. All the street lights would have these fountains coming down, you know what I mean? From the poles, telephone poles, and champagne would just be pouring down. This is what they should do in Times Square, or everywhere, or everywhere. They would just be, you just hold up your little cup, or your plastic glass, or your plastic cup, or your, crystal glass that you carry with you. And then the champagne would just pour down from the sky and everyone would have something to drink. Because I'm just thinking, I'm just jogging my memory watching New Year's. You know what? The people in the crowds, they're not drinking anything. Maybe they're not allowed to bring anything on site. I don't know. I've never been to New Year's in Times Square, except seen it on TV. So there I was in New Year's with nothing to drink at midnight except this cheap sparkling juice. Well, God, there goes my mind, and that's how I think. It's not cheap, it's high-end sparkling juice. It just happens to not be fine champagne. And I guess I'm not good at saving for winter. If I was a squirrel, I would starve over the winter, and I would not be good at saving all my nuts or acorns. But I'm not a squirrel. Just so it's takes one to know one. Takes one to know one. But yeah, it's a very disappointing feeling that I've never not had champagne at New Year's. I just happened to not have champagne because I was in a rush and I didn't have time to pick it up, which doesn't make sense. But it does make sense because a lot of people were saying that the year went by really, really, really fast, like 2023. Everyone I talked to was saying the same, 2022. Everyone was saying the same thing, like, oh my God, it went by so fast. I can't believe it. Like, I don't know anybody who said, oh, 2022 was the longest year of my life. I wish it would last, everyone said the same thing, like, oh, 2022 went by so fast, just flew by. And I've said the same thing. Oh, what happened to it? 2022 just flew by. So, it's just a very disappointing feeling. And that ball drops on New Year's and you have nothing to drink that's substantially good. That was very disappointing because you get that countdown from 10. You only get that once a year. In every country, they do it. They do it in Times Square. They do it in London. They do it in Australia. They do it, anything you watch. Paris, they do the countdown, 10. So it's 10, down to 1. Happy New Year. And then you drink champagne and kiss people. Well, not kiss people, kiss one person. I never think, never open your champagne before New Year's. It has to be, you have to pop the cork right after New Year's. But these French imported, these bottles, they were non-alcoholic, sparkling wines and champagne, but they did actually have bona fide corks, like hard to open, bona fide, unscrew the metal, and then pop the cork. Like these were champagnes from France. They were just non-alcohol. They were all alcoholized. I don't even know what that is or how to pronounce it. I mean, we're talking like fine champagne, and I downed it in like October. You have to save for special occasions. That's the point. You have to save for special occasions. You only get that moment once a year. The New Year's hit. After the countdown, there's a countdown, the New Year's hit, and there's that one peaceful, quiet moment where everything just freezes and stops, and you hear all the songs that they play every year, the New Year's theme, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it's so quiet in every country. The fireworks start right after it hits midnight. In London, you get the Big Ben, and you get that, you feel like screaming, and you do scream like a kid, and then New Year's hits, and everyone's screaming, and then the fireworks start, or in Times Square, the wishes are blown through the open sky in the night, but for about 5 seconds or a couple minutes, 5 minutes, you get that really, really, really peaceful, quiet nothing that you'll never get for the rest of your life. It's just right. It's just that newness. It's like that newness. Like, oh, it's a new year, and you look at the new year, and everything seems like an open possibility. But you need to have that moment with the champagne. That's the thing, and I didn't have the champagne. I had sparkling clementine juice. That's not champagne. That's like cheap sangria that you buy at a deli. Yeah, a couple bottles of these French imported wines. They happen to be non-alcoholized. I prefer the alcohol. That's why I didn't save them. I was like, okay, well, I was downing them like they were ocean spray. That's the thing. I was downing them like they were ocean spray. They should have been savored, like in the afternoon, go for a picnic, go to the beach. I mean, this is a very fine connoisseur taste. But you don't just lap those up you don't lap that up like a puddle, like it's ocean spray. But I did, and I made fun of them too. There's a video in there I was making fun of those juices. I was unofficially reviewing them. But people do reviews when they get paid. I didn't get paid. I just had them, and I was like mocking them. I was making fun of them. That's not fun, because New Year's hit, and I didn't have anything to drink. Nothing. I had these. Don't let it happen to you.